Hello and welcome to Creatives Like Us, a podcast where we open up conversations about what it really means to build a creative career when you're Black or brown. I'm your host, brand and marketing graphic designer, Angela Lyons. In my guest episodes, I sit down with creatives who are out there doing the work, navigating the industries, and proving that there's space for all of us. Because the more we share, the more we see our stories out there, and the more we see ourselves reflected, and the more we realise we're not alone in this. Okay then, are you ready? Let's dive into today's episode. Here we are, and welcome to Creatives Like Us. And today I'm joined by a very special guest. Her name is Kerry. And Kerry, can you tell people where you are in the world and what type of creative are you?
So I'm Kerry Herbert, and I'm based in North London. And I am a baking educator for children, really around the age of 4 to 11. So I go into schools and I provide baking lessons for children that is aligned with whatever they're learning about in their everyday schoolwork. And I just go in and make sure they have a good time. And it's a way to make them feel enthusiastic about learning, a bit of a break from the norm of sitting down at their desk and, learning stuff off the blackboard. So we cover a whole variety of topics. And so that's what we do. I try and just make it fun and engaging for them.
I love it because I said all my guests are special, but I also know Kerry, and I know that she has her past has led her to where she is now, and I love that. I think that's really special. And could you tell us a little bit about your past and what you were in your previous life?
Yeah, sure. So I actually didn't intend to ever end up doing what I am doing. When people used to say to me, "Oh, you should work with children, you should bake with children," I have to be honest, it seemed like it just wasn't on my radar. It actually seemed like it would be a nightmare because, let's face it, kids are all over the place. They're messy, they're chaotic. And I thought, I don't know if I've got the patience for that. And so I originally started my career working as a pharmaceutical scientist. So I worked for a global pharmaceutical company. I did that for about 20 years. And somewhere through that 20-year period, I just started baking. Baking was something that, I say start, it was more that I returned to it because I'd always loved baking with my grandmothers, my mum as a child growing up. And that kind of tailed off when I went to university because, uni life just kind of got in the way.
You haven't got time to bake cakes.
Exactly.
Or bake anything.
Too busy going out. So I just kind of, after I got married and had my own house, I thought, I'm going to try and do this again. I'm going to try and give it a go. And also I had my own space to mess up because if I had tried that at home with my parents and my mum, it would have been like, why are you creating all this mess in
my kitchen?
Yeah. I would have been that chaotic child.
Yeah.
So when I had my own home, I just started baking again. And then after, it was actually whilst I was looking for my own wedding cake, I saw how amazing some of these cake designs were. And I was just sucked into it, or I would just spend hours looking through magazines. No internet back then. That's how long ago.
Looking through analog magazines.
Yes, the paper versions. There's no YouTube. I remember
no
Pinterest, none of that. I remember I was joined to many forums, and it was just like literally all text or one picture, and just looking at that and just trying to, wonder and trying to decipher how they had created all of these amazing works of art. So after I got married, I enrolled on a cake decorating class at my local college. I did 6 months worth of classes there. And then I just started doing it for myself. I started baking more cakes, decorating more cakes. And I remember the lady who asked me to make the first wedding cake I ever made. And I actually remember kind of going onto this forum. It was a desktop computer, which was dial-up broadband. I was like, my kitchen was over here.
Yeah.
The computer was in the living room, and I was running back and forth from the kitchen to the computer so I could see what the next part of what I had to do was, run it back into it.
So you say that, so the instructions and everything were on the computer. You had to basically follow it.
Exactly. And it was relying on people who had gone through the same process that I was trying to
I suppose
achieve.
the knowledge, you were trying to gain
Exactly.
their knowledge and it was all online. I see what you mean.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ask the question on there and then follow it step by step. But I was having to run back and
Run from
forth,
kitchen to...
like, trying to retain the information in my mind and then run back into the kitchen.
Oh, that's so funny. Just thinking about that, that's quite good that the people are willing to share.
Yeah. I do find that the cake community is amazing. Everyone I've ever met has been really helpful, really nice. Even to this day, I've never come across people who want to gatekeep the information.
Yeah.
They're always willing to share. It's a lovely community. So I did that, started decorating more cakes, started getting more orders. And it kind of just grew from there to the point where I was in my 9 to 5 at the pharmaceutical company I
Still a
worked
scientist.
for.
Yeah.
Still a scientist working in R&D. And I just thought, I wonder if this is something that I can do for a living. And I was just thinking, no, I can't do that. Making cakes isn't going to pay me money that I'm going to be able to live by. And then as I started to get more and more orders, I started to kind of calculate what I would need to achieve in terms of orders that would equate to enough money that I could live on. And I have to say, it took me a long time from the point of having those first thoughts to actually ending up at a point where it was my job, my full-time job. It was only in 2017 that I quit my job and I decided I'm going to give this a go because I didn't want to always think, what if? So
What
I thought,
if?
So I thought, I'll just give it a go. So in 2017, I quit my job, and it was actually, I remember sitting at work and my bosses said, we've got a meeting. We all need you to come into the meeting room. And I was thinking to myself, this could be redundancy. I could walk away with this with like a little nest egg in case it doesn't pan out. So we went into this meeting room and it was actually the opposite. They were saying, we're bringing in another layer of kind of management, and everyone in this room is eligible to apply for this new line within the company.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I just sat there and I thought to myself, I'm not going to apply. And then I thought,
oh, wow,
if I don't apply, that means I have to leave because
you have to go. Yeah, you've already made up your minds, haven't you? Yeah.
So, and because I almost had to say to my boss, I'm not applying. They wanted to know why, because like, why aren't you applying? And I just said, I'm not applying because I'm going to be leaving. And it was a really difficult decision to make because I absolutely loved my job. I mean, it had changed and evolved over the decades that I was there, but I just thought to myself, I can't sit here. Every time I sat down to work, I'd be thinking about, how do I do that in cake? I've got this cake.
How do I do this bit of icing?
Yeah. I felt like I wasn't giving all of myself to either thing that I had. So I thought I have to give this a go. And I had to say to my bosses, I'm not going to apply because actually I think I'm going to resign. So I did that in 2017. Got my garage converted into a cake studio, and then did that for a couple of years because in 2019, at the end of 2019, that's when I sort of started putting the feelers out there for schools, because I felt personally like I was missing something, and it was using the side of my brain that I had been using within the pharmaceutical industry. I'd entered into this world of creativity, and I have to say I'd never considered myself to be creative. Throughout my whole academic life, I'd kind of done the traditional academic subjects, A-levels, maths, physics, chemistry. I went to uni and I did chemistry at uni, and I just didn't think I could cut it as a cake designer.
As a creative. Yeah.
And I felt that I was missing something. So I remember I had a particular problem that I was trying to work out with a cake order that I had. And I thought to myself, there's a maths formula for that. And I thought, I can use that. And I thought, see, maths is useful, because so many people just say, why are we learning formula and algebra? We're never going to need that in the real world. And then I actually had to use it. And I thought to myself, this should be something really great to show kids the tangible use of subjects like maths and science through baking. So that's when I had
Yeah.
the idea to kind of work with kids. But even then, that's like 10 years, over 10 years ago now. And even then, I just felt, no, I'll put that to the back burner. But then at the end of 2019, I was kind of doing these taster sessions for schools. And then obviously COVID happened. So
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
that point,
That put a stop for it for a bit.
exactly. So all of my cake courses that I had lined up, they all vanished
Oh
within a
man.
month or so. And then I thought I could maybe try and do some stuff online. And I just put the feelers out there. And then I worked with various companies who wanted to do team building exercises for their members who were like all over the country.
Yeah.
So we did a few of those. And I did.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes, I did.
That's really cool.
I would like ship out these boxes of like cake decorating, baking ingredients and cake decorating materials. And then I'd host kind of a live tutorial for that company over Zoom.
Yeah.
And we did that. They did that with all their employees. I did kids' parties. I did charity celebrations.
And this is all still remotely?
This was all remotely. Me trying to figure out how to set up 2 cameras and all that kind of stuff. And COVID made us really think outside the box, I think. So
yeah.
And then after that, the school that I had delivered some taster sessions to, they said they wanted me to come back in, and I've been there with that school. I've been there for almost six years now.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Going back every week, teaching different year groups. So within one day, I probably bake with around about 100 students in one day.
Oh wow!
In groups of 3, and then their after school baking club, which I lead as well.
I bet they love it. Do they love it?
They're so enthusiastic. And it's reached a point now where I kind of walk down the corridor and they're like, "Oh, Miss, who's baking today? Who's baking today?" And I'm like, "It's not your year group. You were last week."
Oh.
So they really do love it. And they remember it as well. They retain so much more information. Like I've done like baking clubs in other schools, and I'll tell them one thing, and the next week they'll come back and they're like, "I was telling my mum about this particular thing." And I was like, "Oh, what do you mean?" She goes, "Oh, well, my mum put this in the oven and I was telling her about oven spring." I was like, "Really?" It's just like they're just going home and sharing the information with
their knowledge.
Everyone. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That shows that they're enthusiastic, because especially kids, like, there's so many things that could take away their attention, and to like have something that's quite, hands-on, and also, and you're bringing the science and the maths and then the nutritional side of things, and that's really cool. That's really good. I remember seeing something on TV once, again, just to come back to kids, and like them not understanding how things are made, but you're showing things how they're made. Like I think I saw a TV clip once, it was like on the news, like the reporter asked the kid where apples come from, or how apples made. It was like Sainsbury's or something like that. Other supermarkets are available, but they believed that they just appeared on the shelves. It was like they didn't understand the process of the seed and the growing and the watering and the whole science behind it. So it's good with the cooking, they're understanding that you've got to get all these things together. It's not just a ready meal.
Exactly. And I've had that exact same conversation with some of the kids, because the lessons are designed in such a way that I go in, we do the baking, and then there's always a little bit of downtime. Either it might be while we're waiting for something to rise, or whilst it's in the oven. So the lesson that I then deliver to them is, say, for example, if they're learning about the Egyptians, we'll bake something related to that, but then I'll deliver a lesson about the Egyptians. So I have to kind of go back to school myself, because before the lesson, I have to do my research on whatever they're learning, and then structure it in a way that can be delivered to them that's in line with the national curriculum.
Yeah.
And I often ask them, questions like, "So where do we get wheat from?" And then we'll get to put a flour. Where do we get, where does flour come from? And they'll say, "Lidl, the supermarket's available." And I'll be like, "Yeah, but how does it get to Lidl? What's the process? Do we know?" So it is a way of teaching them, like you said, how things get from their starting point to ending up on their plate. And it makes them more aware about things that go into what they're eating as well. And
Yeah.
because they're enthusiastic about, baking it, cooking it, or whatever, they're also more likely to try stuff as well. There's so many children who will say, oh, I don't like this, or I don't eat that. And they've never actually tried it.
Never tried it, yeah.
Yeah, and then they'll smell it cooking and they'll smell it baking and they're like, well, actually, I might try that because it smells really nice. So, yeah.
Oh, wow. Do you ever bring I know it's all creative too, them creating things. Is there any creativity? Are they allowed to do anything fun, create anything different, or is it all?
Well, they are, because we do. One of the recent lessons I did, it was actually a after school baking club, and we were just doing biscuits. But one of the things about the creativity of biscuits is that more often than not, the creativity happens after the biscuits are baked. So, if you're icing them, you're decorating them. And we don't really have the time to wait for this to cool down and then wait for them to decorate them. So I thought, what if we decorated them before they went in the oven? So we added food coloring to some of the dough and they cut out their shapes. And then before they went in the oven, I said, right, here you go. Here's your dough. Here's the colors you've chosen. Decorate it how you want. And I was so impressed with some of the shapes that they used to cut out, like a seashell. One of the children made it look like a huge banner that was behind someone. She did a little person in the middle of it, so it looked like a banner. So it's always really interesting to see how their minds work, and because I would never have thought of that. And I think I read a study or a report recently that said adults are 90% less creative. We are 90% less creative than we were as children.
Oh, I 100% agree with that. I agree with that because I suppose one is time to be creative, and also we're worrying about how we're going to do X, Y, Z, and then also our brain is thinking about X, Y, Z, or we just don't have. Yeah, I just think you have to make the time, don't you?
Yeah.
And you've got no inhibitions as a kid, so you just go for it. You just think.
As adults, we're very concerned about the end result, whereas I think children are more invested in the process. They're not bothered about what it looks like. Not that they're not bothered, they're proud of whatever the end result is. Whereas we're like, oh, I could have done this different. We start ripping things to pieces. So it's really
and then we
nice.
Start doubting ourselves, and then we start doing this, and then start thinking about, oh, I could have done this. But kids are like, just go for it and just gung ho.
And they're like, oh yeah, and I can eat it anyway. So if it's not great, I'll just eat it.
Exactly. They're not going to be I always ask about the catalyst connection. Is there anyone, or I know you mentioned like you're at work and you just thought, you worked out how much money you could make to leave your career. Is there anyone involved along the way that just said, go for it, or anyone who's inspired you to say, I know you said you've got community of cake makers. Was there anyone in particular that you want to either tell us about or give us an insight on how it happened?
Yes. So whilst I was on, because as I said, it took me a long time to reach that decision to actually leave. And I was actually on maternity leave with my second child when I started to think, I am gonna leave, but I kept putting it off. And I used to listen to one lady. She is a business coach, and she had a podcast, and she had this whole back catalogue of podcasts that she'd made. And it was all about kind of, setting up a business, promoting your business, social media, all of that stuff. And I used to binge those podcasts. Mm-hmm. So by the time I was ready to leave, I kind of had not all of her knowledge, but I had a lot of information already in my head. That's not to say that it wasn't difficult or it just came naturally to me to do it, because I always think that doing something like setting up your own business is so much harder than you actually envision. You think that it will be when you start.
Yeah.
And going from like a corporate environment where you've got people to call on if you're computer breaks down, you've got IT departments all on.
Got marketing, you've got finance,
Exactly,
you've got an accountant.
exactly. And so there was all of those things that you kind of have to factor in as well. So there's definitely that lady who I still kind of work with, in the sense that I still purchase her products, I still follow her information. She is, I guess, kind of in the mainstay of my business journey. As I've
Is she a
evolved.
mentor?
Yeah,
Like a mentor from afar.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you share her name and who she is?
Yeah, so her name is Claire Mitchell, and she runs a business called the Girlsman Business. And now she kind of focuses a lot more on digital products and memberships and recurring income and all of that kind of stuff. And she is amazing. And I had an opportunity, I think again it was whilst I was on maternity leave, where because she's based somewhere up north, but she did like this strategy workshop close to London, and I went to that day, and I had the opportunity to meet her in person.
Oh, cool.
So that was really nice to meet her. So yeah, she's always been there along the journey that I've taken. And then I would have to say the other person that I kind of thank for kind of really getting me to have faith in the fact that I could work with children and I could work with large groups of children is the lady who she's actually works in finance, or she works in the finance department of the school that I first started with and still work with. And the funny thing is that I had never, she works in finance, so she wasn't a teacher at the school or anything. And when I kind of had this idea about turning some of what I had into digital products, again, one thing about me is that I'm a procrastinator. So I've had that idea for you, as you know. I mean, this podcast, me coming on here.
I've been asking Kerry for about, I think since I started it last year. We're in July 2026. I think I asked her like a few months into 2025. But you said yes. You eventually came round and you said yes. So it's like, there's nothing wrong sometimes in not the procrastination side of things, but having to think about it and seeing if it's right for you, and also being in the right space. Like today, when you first came out, I said, "Are you nervous?" And you were like, "No." I was like, "Oh, okay." So it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. So I had this kind of idea of having some kind of digital product for my business, which looked very different to what I'm working towards right now. And to kind of promote that version of what it was back then, I was doing some live tutorials. I had a Facebook group, and I was like doing webinars and things to kind of promote that. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, I got this call from this lady who was in finance at the school, and she said, I've seen you on socials. I don't know who she is. She never had a comment on any of my social posts or anything like that. And she said, I've seen you on socials, and, it really spoke to what they're trying to achieve in the school. And she wondered if I would go in and just have a meeting with them and see if I could help them maybe put on a taster lesson for some of their children. So, as you know, as I said, I like to procrastinate. So I was really nervous because it had to be quite soon.
No time for procrastination there.
Exactly. There was not. So I was like, yeah, of course, I'll come along and I'll do it. And I thought, this isn't going to come of anything. I'm just going to go and give this taster lesson. It's probably not going to be for them. And then that'll be the end of it. And literally within that meeting afterwards, they just said, would you like to come in like once a week and do this? And,
Wow.
They had very lucky that they had like a food tech room. They've got all the equipment available, the ovens, everything. So it wasn't like me trying to repurpose the space or anything. It is designed for that.
Amazing. Perfect situation.
Yeah. So that was kind of the start of where I am today, where I'm kind of working with 3 schools. One of those schools, they've got a hybrid special needs and mainstream, and they have a specific autism unit. So I now work them creating a curriculum that is designed for their autistic students who obviously, because of their challenges, they can't follow the typical national curriculum. So they asked me if I would create something for them. I did that. And for the, so just to, it's things like, for example, are they comfortable touching the ingredients? Are they starting to follow instructions? Are they repeating back things to you? So very, it's specifically created
tailored.
for them.
Yeah, it's tailored to them. Yeah.
So now I work with that school and deliver lessons to their mainstream children and their SEND children as well. And it's lovely to see how children can be brought out of their shell and interact in a school, in school life through other means. So one particular case was a child recently who likes to bake, but he didn't want to take part in the baking lessons for his group. He's a little bit older than the rest of the children who are in that unit, and he just wanted to be amongst his peers. And then his group left, and he asked me if he could stay behind and help with anything. So I checked with the teachers, and they said, yeah, that's fine. And he just helped me bake some other stuff that I had leftover ingredients. And he was just communicating. We were having a great conversation. He was telling me that he likes to bake, what we were making. He'd never made it before. And then the next week I said, so how was that? He's like, yeah, miss, can we make that again? I said, I don't think we can, because you're year 6. You're going to be leaving. You're going to be going off to secondary school. Yeah. So you're not going to be here next academic year when I come back. And he kind of like looked as if to say, oh yeah, that's true.
Oh, bless. He was so looking forward to it. He didn't even realise.
I know.
But you might have inspired them. Yeah, something that they can continue. Oh, bless. Oh, that's so sweet. So you mentioned you creating programs. Actually, I'm going to take it back, because like she said that she found you on social media. Do you find how do you find marketing your business? Because obviously you've moved from like making cakes, for example, birthday cakes and wedding cakes, and people finding you through family and friends and maybe online too. Is there something in social media where are you enjoying it? I mean, obviously I stalk you on social media. I don't stalk you in a horrible way, but I like, oh, Kerry just popped up again. And I find it really cool the way you explain things. And like, are you enjoying that process? Can you tell people a bit about it?
I have a love-hate relationship with social media. It's one of those jobs that I kind of was referring to previously, where when you work for a large company, you have a whole department who can deal with that. And my issue on social media is the consistency of it. It would need to be my full-time job for me to be as consistent doing it as I would like it to be. So when I've got downtime, I'm like, right, I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to like batch create all these posts. I'm going to get them out there. And I'll probably do that for like a week, 2. I actually did do it for a month once. And I was like so proud of myself. Posted every day for a single month. But then life takes over. And I think social media has definitely changed since when I first signed up. I didn't know what I was doing. And at that point, it was my celebration cake business. And I found it a lot easier to handle social media with that, because it's just pretty pictures of cakes. I just needed to like put up a picture of a cake or put up a picture of me, video of me decorating the cake. That was easy. Now I'm kind of trying to reach a different audience. It's been more of a struggle, because I have to, the whole point of, you have to let people see who you are, let them learn to know you, like you, and trust you. I'm such an introvert that I find that is really difficult. Yes, I can bake and take pictures of those and put those up on videos of that, but people need to see the persona behind the business, and that's the piece that I find quite difficult. But over the years, it has become easier, but I still know that I've got such a long way to go.
Do you find the more you do it, it becomes more easier?
Yeah, but for me, because it's the consistency, because, I'll be like, I'll do it for a week and say, oh yeah, that's getting easier. And then I might not
Yeah.
post for a week and I'm like back to square one again. So it's, yeah.
I get that. I think it's one of those things like, I suppose muscle power to like brain power to like muscle. If you don't use it, it wastes away. Like it's a shame. Same with like posts on social media. I mean, I get it too. To be honest with you, it's like you can leave it for a little bit. You're like, oh god, I got to get back into it again. And it's just. But I was going to say, I do love your social media, and I love your educational
Oh,
posts. I love
oh,
when you
thank you.
share things
Thank
and
you.
like how things go right, how they go wrong, or what you can do. And you do have a. And because I know you, I know your personality comes across in the post too, and I think you're doing amazing. So just
Yeah,
saying.
and that's one of the things I've struggled with as well, because I often think, am I being authentic on social media? Because the people I'm trying to reach specifically are like home educating mums. So with where I'm taking my business, that's the kind of audience that I'm trying to reach. So that home educating mums can replicate what I offer in schools in their home, but easily, without stress, without mess, and all of that stuff. And because I'm not a home educating mum, because I don't have children who have got SEND challenges, imposter syndrome creeps in. Am I being authentic? And then
Yeah.
I was speaking to another coach, who's also a friend of mine, and she just said that you work with so many children
That's what I was
with
about to say. I was
with
about to say.
a whole range of additional needs, whereas as a parent, you're only really ever with your child or children, and that might be the only lens through which you view the challenges that they face. So yeah, it's still, I'm still trying to get to grips
Get
with
your
that.
head around that. I'd say
Yeah,
you're at an advantage, to be honest with you, because like what you're the coach said, your friends, you know so many children, so many different backgrounds, and so much, diverse challenges they're facing, that you can bring that all in your content too and share that. So it will. I think it's so weird because I don't see that at all. So you need to come out of
we,
that.
yeah, we always view ourselves differently to what others view us as well, right?
True, true,
And
true.
another interesting thing that she said was she doesn't actually believe in imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
She believes that it's just a case of when we are almost moving to the next level, stepping out of our comfort zone. And I can see that through each stage of my journey. Every time I've had to try something new, I've kind of compared myself or wondered about whether I can do that. And, as Nelson Mandela said, it's always impossible until it's done. I'm paraphrasing, but
Yeah, no, it is. It's true. It's true though. I think, and also I was, again, I know a lot of men don't have imposter syndrome. But I think it's one of those things. I was listening to Joe Wicks at a talk that I was at, and somebody asked him about imposter syndrome. He's like, I don't have imposter syndrome. Might sound arrogant.
really,
I don't have imposter syndrome because I know I worked hard for what I've got, and you've worked hard for what you've got.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I know, but I
yeah,
do get it also. I do get it
yeah,
also. But every time I think about things like, I'm thinking, have I got imposter syndrome? I think about, sadly, or maybe good thing, Joe Wicks, I think, I've worked hard for what I've got. So,
yeah, yeah. Wow,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And maybe it's also viewed differently.
Yeah.
Maybe if a woman had said that statement, would that have been viewed differently?
Yeah, because when a man says it, you think, oh, God, they're just arrogant.
Yeah.
You know? So you mentioned a few future projects, it sounds like, and you mentioned the digital projects. Is there anything, what's in the future? What plans have you got?
Yes, I have got a couple of I've got more than a couple of free digital resources, but I'm in the process or on the journey of making my digital platform bigger. And I have got one digital like activity pack, which is themed around, it's kind of like a mystery. So um, as parents, they can do this mystery with their children, and it includes science experiments, it includes baking. And by working their way through the pack, at the end of it, they have to say who's done it based on all of the elements
Cool.
that they've kind
Yeah.
of gathered, all of the clues, evidence, and everything else that they've gathered throughout the rest of the pack. So that's one. So there's activity packs, and I'm now working on my membership, which will be almost like a monthly version of that. So different activity packs themed around different things. So whether it's, what we grow, the garden and what we grow, it is literally just taking what I've learned and teaching children face to face and in the classroom, where all of their lessons have to be themed around a topic, and building an activity pack around that. So it is more than just recipes, because a lot of people will say, well, recipes, I can go and get them off of YouTube. Well, this is a whole activity pack. There's clues, there's science, there's, breakdowns of the baking.
So is that based for home educators, for parents? Is that or schools?
If mums are home educating, schools can use it as an activity pack as well, because they could grab that activity pack and then do that with their classes. One that I did back in October, I created one for Black History Month, which was all around like Black history and the different bakes from various parts of the world, but with the history of some of the some well-known faces from Black history, as well as some lesser-known faces of Black history. So a little bit about them, why they inspire us, why they motivate us, with the recipes that are kind of associated with those particular countries. So
that's pretty cool.
so lots of different more activity packs to come in, and I've also got a free resource which will be coming shortly, which is really for children who have SEND. So it's more about sensory dose. So because what I quickly learned was that some of them love to explore by tasting.
With their taste,
And obviously if you're baking, it's not always safe for them to do that. You've got raw eggs, you've got raw flour, which shouldn't really be eaten in that way. So I've created a series of different doughs that they can play with. They can, if they taste it, it's completely fine. You can bake it if you want to, but that isn't the focus of the pack. It's more around touching, feeling, smelling. They're all themed around different things. So maybe the garden, maybe, a beach holiday. They're all kind of themed around different senses, all around that.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're not doing so much. So from what I take it, it's not so much the celebration cakes anymore. You're going all in on the education side of things.
Yeah.
You come full circle from the beginning when you said, I should go into education, or someone said to you, you should go into education. Oh no. But now you've taken all of what you've learned over the years.
But funnily enough, having said that, I did have a wedding cake to do for last Sunday. Which was, it made me think, it was horrendous, not because I hate making cakes, but because it was so hot.
Oh, we're in a heat wave at the moment. Yeah, it's hot.
And I had to battle with literally battle with the elements to try and keep these cakes cool, to try and get them to the venue and set them up. So they were
oh my God, that must have been a hot wedding.
And I love the hot weather, but ever since I became a cake maker, I've been like, I just want it to be like 10 degrees cooler and we'll be fine.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I suppose having lots of fans everywhere might not be a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, I have to keep telling them off, because you start weighing stuff out and it just starts flying everywhere. So I do cakes every now and again.
So you still do every now and again. So so someone listening to this might say, I fancy a cake. Then they can contact you, and then before we leave, we'll get all your contact details. Yeah. Is there anything you'd like to ask me or talk about that you want to bring up that I haven't asked you yet so far, or we haven't discussed?
Just one of the things that I just wanted to talk about was networking. You know where I'm going with this,
Let's go for it.
Because you've hosted some amazing networking events, and they were amazing. And I also see you're really prolific in your networking. So I just wanted to how you fit that all in with obviously doing your role, because as a business owner, I know I need to do more networking. And as there's no longer creatives like us networking.
Well, there might be. We might bring it back. Well, I have been talking about it actually the last few weeks to some people. So it's not over yet. Or it might come back in a different format. So, but it's still been networking, but in a different format.
I would look forward
So,
to that.
yeah, I know that's another thing because I was really sad when we kind of ended quite abruptly. And I think also a few people have come up to me after and said they like, see what's happened and continue. So just if you're a new listener here, let's just let you know that Creators Like Us was set up by myself and Aya, Abbas and Vanessa Below. She was a speaker, the first one, and then she joined us and became also a co-founder with us. And we hosted it for Black Brown Creatives in London in a venue called Us Two. And it was a really amazing workshop and networking event. And what I loved about it, some people had come and said they'd never been to a network event before. And some people also said, I've never been to an all black, brown network event before. And they felt very comfortable, very safe. And some people have asked me afterwards, including white people, said, why have you done that? And I was just like, because of that, because we know that it's a safe space to talk about what we need to talk about. But in general, networking, I will go, I was about to say anywhere and everywhere, but you can't do that because you burn yourself out. But I'm very, I've become more specific in where I want to go or where I want to be seen. And there are some events where I won't even share online because it looks like I'm just going out all the time. And I'm really not. So your question was, how do I fit it all in?
Yeah. Because you're busy. So.
Yeah, busy, but I've got my diary. I know what work's coming in, and I also know that I won't. Like last week, I think I was out nearly every day, but that was because I had an Adobe event. I had another thing that I wanted to go to, and it's funny because Io, my friend, the one that I set up Creates Like Us, what she always comes back to with me says, "Are you in the room where you need to be? Are you in the right room?" I can look on Eventbrite right now and go to a gazillion events, but I've got to go to. But you find that out as you go along too. I like going to some networking events because I know that there's going to be community there, and I might need a bit of community. But I also go to some networking events where I just want my face to be seen and people to know about my business. And then they might not get business there and then, but you need to be top of mind and contact them again afterwards on LinkedIn or if you connect with them. So how do I fit it all in? I try not to do more than one a week. And even then, if I do that, I would try and have the following week free. But it depends on times and what's coming up. For example, Thursday this week, I've been invited to 3 networking events.
Oh my gosh.
And a part of me just thinks, I'm actually not going to go to any of them.
The path of least resistance.
Yeah. And also, it's just, I need to preserve my energy because I have got work to do. And also I've got to market my business. And yeah, networking is a part of the marketing, but some of those networking events, are they the place where I need to be, I want to be? So you've got to think about that. Are they the right rooms that you want to be in? But also think differently about your networking. Don't think, like say for example, you're a cake maker and you're not going to go to events that are full of cake makers. The next event you might go to is there a teachers event in Earls Court or something like that? Is there anything where teachers or schools might be exhibiting? Private schools, contacting private schools. It might be a place where not saying you go to open days because that's a bit weird if you did that, but is there a place where but you know what I mean? Is there a place where they advertise their schools, like there'll be an open day for private schools where there's lots of different private schools, and then you go and that could be a place where you can get in. Do you see what I mean? You've got to think about differently.
Yeah, I think that's very true. I think for me, it would be if there are conferences or anything like that, events that are around home education, because I think for me, I'm quickly reaching, like you mentioned there about capacity, what work you've got coming up. So now I have, it was one of my goals last year to have 3 schools on the books by the end of last year, which was achieved this year.
Brilliant, well done.
And I've found now that I really don't have the capacity to have any more schools on the books. So that's one of the drivers for me wanting to kind of create this digital product suite, because I can't be in all these places at the same time, and it's a lot. It's very draining. Some of the one of the schools is quite far away, and it just takes a lot.
That's a day out, isn't it? It's a lot of energy.
I leave first thing in the morning, and I don't come back until like 7 o'clock in the evening.
So then, exactly what you said. So you've had a product that's can give you passive income where you've got some form of online support too, or telephone support if that's what you give. And that's another way to bring income in. But then to get that product out to people, you put it on your website, you do good SEO, but you've still got, how people want to buy from people. They want to see you, they want to meet you. So those kind of events that you can start going to where there's, even council run events, local councils. There's lots of different, you just got to think a little bit differently of where to go and where to be seen. And as I said, don't go to the same places. I go sometimes because I want that community and or if I want to learn something, I might go to an event for small businesses, like Small Business Britain at the moment. It's really good. I don't know if you've been involved with them. And they have a lot of online courses, but then even networking online is quite a good thing because like people go, oh yeah, I do know someone who makes, doing sites and baking in schools, and I work in a school. I know my kids' school might need that, all that sort of thing. So it's one of those, always be listening and always be marketing and always be thinking about the rooms that you should be in. So there am I.
Yeah.
Do as I say, not as I do. No, but I have got loads better actually. And that's because I speak to good people around me, and, Vanessa, and yourself even, I know you've invited me to some networking events before. So
yes, yeah, it's just, and it's so funny because the networking events that one in particular that I used to go to regularly is once a month, but that wound down as well. So, but that was a local one. So, one a month locally, I didn't mind that level of commitment. And
yeah, I say if you can get about 2 in a month, that's a decent amount. If you can, 1 a month, it's good. It's good too. So if you can get at least 2 networking events in a month, that'd be good. And Eventbrite is a brilliant place for that too. So just do searches.
I've never really gone on to Eventbrite as kind of like for research.
As a search. Let me
just look. It's only when people have sent me things that I've known about. Yeah.
I've used it recently for networking, and it's a good place. There's a lot of people advertise. I mean, there's some rubbish, but yeah, I found it was quite very useful actually. So check it out. I think people forget about it because they just get sent a link and to sign up, but it's a good place to network. It's got good SEO, so if you put your right keywords in, find out. So yes, and also listen out for creatives like us. I will let you know.
Yes.
Hopefully, if we come back later on in the year. So I always like to end on a personal question, and that is, what would you tell your teenage self?
I think my message to my teenage self would be to care less about other people's opinions, because I think I've taken longer to do a lot of things because I thought, what would that person think of me? Even now, it's like what you said, do as I say, not as I do. Because even now, I'll be thinking, I want to put that on social media. And then I'll be thinking, but what if that person who I went to school with like 25 years ago sees that? It's like, so I don't know them anymore. I'm not expected to remain the same person that I was 25 years ago. So I say 25 years ago, I wasn't at school 25 years. What am I talking about? A lot more than 25 years.
I wouldn't have said anything, Kerry.
But so definitely care, and I don't mean in a horrible way. I mean, still
of course,
got to care about people's feelings and all of that stuff, but not at the detriment of your own progression and your own happiness, I think. So that would be definitely one, because I was so shy, I think, when I was a child and up until my teenage years. So yeah, definitely.
Nice. Yeah, that's nice. So the quick fire 5 questions, one or the other. Crisps or chocolates?
Crisps.
Beach or forest?
Beach.
Book or Kindle?
Book.
Reggae or soul?
Soul.
Patty or sandwich? I think I know the answer to this.
Patty. Patty every single time. The sandwich doesn't even come close.
Maybe I should have asked your favorite. What's your favorite cake? Oh,
so for me, it's like anything with chocolate and like dark chocolate and cherry. So that's one of my favorites, but also a really good lemon cake. Really good, lemon curd in there. I love lemon flavors. But then, I really like apple as well, like apple and cinnamon.
Do you know what? I believe like we could do a trailer where it just go off for like, when they fade out, like the Kerry still said, but I actually like vanilla sponge. I like cherry and I like
so Black Forest.
I like banoffee.
Yeah, chocolate orange as well. Mint chocolate. I love mint chocolate. Yeah.
I think so you like all of them.
But vanilla for me is literally vanilla. It's like, it was very messy.
It needs something else, doesn't it? Like
it does.
Chocolate or jam or
now a passion fruit Victoria sponge. Now we're talking.
Nice. I don't think I've ever had that. Sounds nice. So Kerry, thank you so much for joining me. Before we leave, could you tell people where they can find you, websites, socials, and when your digital products are coming, if they come before I release the episode, if you send me those links, I'll send them. Or if you've got them now, let's share them.
Yeah, so on socials, Instagram, my kind of educational baking resources, that's at My Baking Classroom. And that's the same on Facebook. And then for my cakes that I make, my bespoke cake creations, that's at Centerpiece Cakes by Kerry. And my website for my digital resources. So there's free stuff on there as well. So there's lots of guides and
nice tasters. Tasters. See what I did there?
Yeah. That's mybakingclassroom.com. So
brilliant. So I'll put all the links in the show notes anyway.
And I'll send them to you as well.
And you'll send them to me. Of course you will. Brilliant. Thank you so much for joining me in Creatives Like Us. And I've loved hearing about your journey and like from scientist to baker to educator. Amazing. So thank you so much.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Creatives Like Us. If this conversation resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. That's how we build our communities and amplify our voices. You can find all the show notes and the links at lyonscreative.co.uk podcast and connect with me on LinkedIn and Instagram. I'd love to see you there. Also, make my day if you can leave a review or comment in your listening platform choice. And it's really easy in Spotify. Leave it in the comments. Until next time, keep creating and keep supporting creatives like us. See you next time. Bye.